Hi, class. Today we're going to work on costumes and the process that goes into designing costumes for a show. I have with me today Becky Scott. Becky is our costume shop manager, and she is also serving as the designer for Little Shop of Horrors, which is a show that will open here in April of 2018. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the process of design and then some of the choices Becky has made in designing the costumes in collaboration with the director. So we're going to start first. The first step in designing costumes is to read and study the play. So I'm going to let Becky talk to us a little bit about that step in the process.
Okay. The interesting thing about doing Little Shop is that a lot of people are already familiar with it because it was made into a movie. The musical script, though, is a little bit different than the movie script. So along with reading the play, I admit I watched the movie again. Just, the show has been done quite extensively. Actually, there's been more than one movie made of it. And so all of those things were a factor. I think that some of the designs were influenced by the original production and by the movie. I think that sometimes audiences kind of expect that in a way, but then I wanted to give it my own viewpoint and a viewpoint unique to our production also.
When you met with the director, what did he say was the concept for the production?
The initial, his concept evolved a little bit over time. His initial concept was the idea of choices and making bad choices, that a lot of people in this production, in the script, were there, that the way that the production moved along, the way that the script moved along, was that people made bad choices, and the repercussions of those bad choices. Seymour chooses to initially feed the plant. He chooses to feed the dentist to the plant. Audrey chooses to hang around with the bad guys, and that it was all about these bad choices. Now, that concept kind of evolved a little bit because it seemed a little harsh, maybe, but the idea, then evolved a little bit, especially with the costumes, to the idea that money doesn't always lead to making good choices. Money doesn't always, from a costume perspective, money doesn't always lead to having good taste. I think we all know somebody with a lot of money who still doesn't dress like they should. And so, it got interpreted that way. But the idea that there are a lot of bad choices and that sometimes people get stuck in this cycle of poverty that they don't know how to get out of because they don't know how to make the good choice. It isn't necessarily completely their fault. Due to the circumstances, and I think that was maybe kind of part of the way, as it evolved. It wasn't that we were pointing at people and saying, you've made a bad choice, but sort of the idea that sometimes choices are made as a result of the circumstances you're in, or not knowing any better.
All right, so I want to talk first about some of the paperwork here that you have.
I started with the script, and one of the things, I'm a big fan of making lists and charts, and so one of the first things that I did do was go through, and these are sort of broken up into French scenes, although it's a musical, so the French scenes were also sort of by song, and this